we are back. New shop, new equipment, new employee. Things are really starting to take off. Sorry we were down on the YouTube videos for a while, but we're just getting things done for a while. But anyways, I told you guys we were going to bring up the Bronco again. Well, the Bronco is started, and we got to go over everything that I kind of did temporarily. The tranny brace, engine mounts, gonna put in a turbo, all that stuff. So this will be the first video of our Bronco build. Kind of just turn it down in a brief overview of what we're going to do. And now that we're kind of established, you can look forward to more videos in the future. So let's check out this Bronco. Okay guys, you're gonna have to forgive my dubbing over. For a lot of this video, there was just stuff going on in the shop, so the audio didn't turn out very well. Here we're pretty much just taking everything apart, so pulling off the grill, pulling off the headlights, the wide body fenders, the hood, inner fenders, and then the quarter panels, which I think you guys saw in my last video. The front fenders are bolted in, but the back quarters, all they are is Zeus fasteners, so quarter turns. You'll see me, Mitch, and Carson here just pulling everything apart, getting it down to the bare bones in the front so we can pull the motor and also just pull everything off. If you guys want to know how any of this stuff comes apart, it was really simple. That's what's nice about these old vehicles. So bolts are pretty much all visible, unlike some of the new stuff. You see it, pull it off, and then just do a once over around the entire thing. Really pretty easy. Got plenty of coolant on the floor there after draining and pulling out the radiator. We are just working on getting apart some of like the wiring harness, getting those inner fender liners off, and then we will move to the inside and the seats before any of the motor. Once we get onto the seats here, they're super easy. It's like 3 or 4 bolts for the passenger side, the same for the driver's side. Here you'll see us pull out this center console that I built, and for the back seat it's just 2 pins on the sides and a latch in the back. Real easy. Here we've moved on to pulling out the dash. So I don't know if I said it before, but this Bronco was laid on its side at one point, and the right side of the dash is a little crunched. We did pull out the A-pillar a little bit, just enough to get the door to close, but it's about to go to the frame machine to get it pulled out the rest of the way to get the door to fit. But anyways, with the dash, pretty simple. All your gauges need to come out. If your glove box is in, it needs to come out. There's some bolts on both corners. You need to drop your steering column, and the bolts that go through the steering column also go through the dash into the brace. Some miscellaneous switches, your headlight switch, pretty much everything that you can see that is into your dash, including trim and stuff, needs to come out. And then it's just some simple bolts on both sides, in your steering column and in the back, and then the whole entire thing, separate from the windshield piece, will just come out. To save time, now you can see kind of closer to the front end. It's really just a mess. We were just kind of looking for things to do on this day, and all of the trim, which you'll see me about to explain here in a minute, is getting filled, including mirrors. We're going to go with a newer style, I think, and but we're just starting with a clean slate on the doors. So here you'll see us welding some holes shut before we do any of the body work. Finally here, it's all torn down, and I kind of wanted to do an overview with you guys. We pulled the heads because it is getting head studs. The heads are coming off, getting cleaned up. Those will get new lift springs. I think we're going to have to put in some stronger push rods. There's all of our wiring kind of tucked into that box. It's actually going to be relocated back into behind the glove box. So the engine bay looks clean. We're going to pull out that bar, and we are going to build longer bars for a 3-link. That transmission brace is temporary and getting redone. So you can see where those mount. Those will be off the frame, and we'll actually custom fab something else in. Here's kind of where you can see where that A-pillar, where it was laid on its side, that is disconnected there, and including the rust around that, we are going to have to patch around the windshield, which is not a big deal. We'll build all these patch panels in-house. You can see where the gap is tighter here, and the A-pillar is actually bent just from being pushed in a little bit, because the gap is not even, since it was laid over on its side at one point, which it's not so far off that I don't think that we can fix it. That is hammered over, which will need to come out. These are my springs for my quarter turn fasteners. I'm gonna have to build a box or something to keep water out from behind after we cover those in. We're thinking about building cubbies in right here, being that this side panel only comes off with about 8 bolts. I think it'd be cool to have some cubbies where we could fit jumper cables, oil, stuff like that. That's gonna be seamed over. Some rust to fix there. That's going to be filled in, so that way it's not just an empty hole into the inside of the quarter. These pockets we're going to have to float maybe into our cubbies just to make it look somewhat nice under there. That'll get shaved. Like I said, all these holes for trim are shaved, including mirrors, so we can run whatever type of mirrors we want. That will all be welded back in the firewall, and we're going to have to clean up the entire firewall. Everything's going to have to be welded shut. That brake booster, we're going to have to level back out. I'm going to have to run some of my turbo oil feed lines back into the front of this timing cover, I think towards the bottom. Going to pull these out and make brand new motor mounts from the frame up to the motor for the LS. Power steering shouldn't be an issue. The wiring, like I said, will all be inside back behind the glove box. Just trying to clean up the engine bay as much as possible. Our inner fender liners we're going to try to recreate from scratch and do some bead rolling and stuff down to hide kind of some of the ugly stuff. I think you guys know what I was talking about. And then like show cars have that. Here's the holes we started filling. This side's almost done. A couple little pinholes that still need fixed. That one will stay so I can run a key on the driver's side. This door, as you can see, fits a lot better. It is a little tight at the top corner just because we have all of the weight outside of the door. So once that weight is in there, it kind of pulls it back down. There's our Intellitronics gauges you saw in the last video. I might rock a different color. This, I think all the floor is going to be bed lined in whatever color we decide to go with. Those cubbies I'm going to bring through into the inside, just add some depth. Headliners. This is an old, or like an RV heater I put in because I didn't want to have a big box with a heater core and a fan, and it works great. I just have it to the defrost because during the winter, that's the only thing I need. And that, we're getting a piece 3D printed to actually mount it to the defrost the way we want to. This side, just like the other, but it has a fuel neck, that's why it doesn't come off so easily. We're gonna have to weld all this just to make it look normal underneath there, and also add that clearance for the tire that we need. In the back, we're going with a 4-link, so the leaf springs will be gone. The axle is going to need some work. I think I'm going to build a truss for it, and then we're going to have coilovers up into here somewhere. I haven't decided completely yet. New tailgate, new glass. If you look on the back side, there's no spare tire carrier, so we're going to leave that seamless like that. I'm actually going to build a roof rack for just the topper that will have some KC lights and our spare tire on it, And just like a Jeep, I'm going to make one master plug. So that way you just unplug one wire, pull your bolts out, and then the top will come off. And we're also working on patching in our spare tire carrier holes. We're going to do custom bumpers built in shop. This other side, it kind of stinks because sometime it was hitting the quarter and it's split right there, so that'll need welded because you can see all this Bondo that someone put in there. Really just some trashy work, but who knows when it happens. It could have been the 80s when this thing was fixed last, so that will get repaired. Any rust that we find. The fuel tank, I'm not sure what we're going to do with it yet. I thought about building our own fuel cell, but if it works and I can just clean it up a little bit, that'd be fine. The axle, like I said, I'm going to build a truss. I don't know if I'm going to put a new one yet or just rebuild that one. What else here? New windows, new window tint, and all new seals completely around. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to remember what I was saying at this point. Power steering will only need a new lines from the power steering pump over there. We might have to relocate it for our turbo piping. Here you can see our heads still look pretty clean. All these valve springs are going to be taken out. We have a LS9 cam that is going to be going into it. And I think that's pretty much it, besides some of this body work that needs pulled out. Some of this needs pulled out. That gap is too big, but once we pull that pillar out, we should be able to slide that door forward to get it fit better. The antenna hole we're going to shave. And yeah, just everything that an old vehicle gets, including new seals, windows, window tint, and that kind of stuff. That pretty much does it for this video, guys. Just a whole lot of stuff. Looks a lot different, but it's really we haven't dove that far into the project yet. We're really just tearing it down to the bare bones, just to kind of get a baseline to get everything from the bottom built back up, and to make sure everything is done right and looks good. And it's probably going to take a while for this project, but I think it'll really pay off in the end. So that's all I got for you today. After this, I'll just throw in a little bit of a fun, weird Mitch moment. So here's that.
What you doing?
Pulling some rock arms off.
Listen.
What?
Listen. You listening?
I'm listening.
Check this out. Some say words are meant to be spoken.
Okay.
Others say rules are meant to be broken. Some kids grow up hard and mean, while others grow up skinny and lean. Down south, they got their own twang, while on the coast, they got their own slang. There's no two things truly the same. That's why life is just a game.